You work the loading dock, same shift, same hours, every single day of the week, rain or shine. Derek works 2 aisles over from you. Loud, confident, always talking about something new. He just financed a $58,000 truck, full extended warranty included. You still drive the same 2011 Corolla you bought used almost 6 years ago now. Derek laughs about that car, every single week without fail like clockwork. What Derek doesn't know is what's actually sitting quietly in your account, growing while nobody's watching. Level 1, $890. 2 years ago, this is exactly where you started. A small rented room, a mattress on a frame, and not much else. Rent takes more than half of what you make each month before anything else even gets touched. Groceries take most of what's left over after that, and you already know the total before you check out. There was never much room left to save anything at all. Not on paper, not really. But you opened a brokerage account anyway, almost on a whim, late one night when you couldn't sleep. $40. That's genuinely all you could spare that very first week, and it felt small. Derek saw the app open once, over your shoulder, in the break room. He laughed. $40 isn't going to do anything, man. You're wasting your time. You didn't argue with him, you just nodded and quietly let the comment go. You just kept showing up, shift after shift after shift, the same routine on repeat. Every 2 weeks, another $40 automatically, without you even thinking about it anymore. Some weeks you skipped a coffee, some weeks you skipped a lot more than that. Level 2, $6,400. A year later, Derek leased a brand new truck, top trim, every single extra option checked. Monthly payment, $780, plus insurance on top of that. You were still driving the exact same Corolla, parked right beside it every single day. But your account had quietly grown without a single announcement, without a single soul knowing. Nobody at work knew that number. Nobody at work ever thought to ask. You never told a single person, not even the people you considered close friends. Derek actually asked once how you even afford anything on a warehouse paycheck. I don't really spend much, you told him. That was the entire answer. That answer was true. It just genuinely wasn't the whole truth of it. The market dropped hard that spring. Everyone online was posting about panic. You didn't sell a single share of it. You just quietly kept adding to the pile. It felt strange buying more while the numbers on the screen were bleeding red. One night you almost bought a watch you couldn't really afford, just to feel like you'd caught up. You stood there for almost 10 minutes before you finally just walked away. Nobody ever knew you almost did that. It never even became a story. Level 3, $22,000. By year 3, something had quietly started to shift underneath the surface. Not in how you lived. Your apartment looked almost exactly the same as before. It was in what was quietly building underneath all of it, level by level, quarter by quarter. Derek missed a truck payment that month. He never once mentioned it out loud. He forced a smile in the break room, like everything was still completely fine. You noticed anyway. You just didn't say a single word about it. A regional bank flagged your account for a routine courtesy review out of nowhere. Nothing bad, just noticed for the very first time in your life. A message appeared on your screen. We'd like to discuss your account with you personally. You read it twice before you even thought about typing a reply. This was never really the plan. It's just what happens when you simply don't stop. You looked Patricia up before you even called her back, just to be sure it was real. It was real. You called her back the next afternoon on your lunch break. Level 4, $71,000. A banker named Patricia called you directly. Personally, not through some call center. That never happened back when the balance still read $890. Patricia offered you access to a higher yield savings tier just like that. You still worked the exact same shift the very next morning, no different at all. Derek's truck got repossessed that winter. Quietly, early one cold morning. Nobody at work said anything about it directly to his face. You gave him a ride home twice that week without ever making it into a whole thing. He never once asked why your old car still ran perfectly fine after all these years. You didn't bring up the account. It simply didn't feel like the right moment. Some things you just let sit quietly without ever needing to explain any of it. Balance checked that same night. $71,240. Still the same Corolla parked outside. Sometimes it felt lonely, carrying a number nobody around you was allowed to see. You never let that feeling change what you did the next morning. Level 5, $180,000. Dividends started quietly covering small things all on their own now. A car repair, a dentist visit, things that used to genuinely stress you out. None of it felt dramatic. It just felt like carrying a little less weight. Patricia mentioned a private wealth advisory service for the first time that year. I'll think about it, you said, still standing there in your work uniform. You went right back to the dock again the very next morning, same as always. Nobody there had the slightest idea what Patricia had just offered you. Derek found a new job at a different warehouse clear across town. You still had his number saved from all those years spent working together. You texted him, "Hey man, how's the new place treating you these days?" He never replied back. You honestly didn't hold it against him at all. You started reading about land in quiet counties just to see what was out there. Level 6, $450,000. You bought a small piece of land later that year. Nothing extravagant about it at all. Paid entirely in cash. No loan, no financing, no monthly payment hanging over you. You didn't post about it anywhere. Not one single photo, not one single word online. Patricia set up a private review meeting for you that following spring. Private client access, fully unlocked without you ever once asking for it. You still wore your same worn work jacket to that entire meeting. Patricia didn't seem to mind that in the slightest. You asked her one honest question. "Can I still work my shift again tomorrow?" She laughed gently. "You never have to ask me that question again." You went back to the dock again anyway. Right on schedule as always. Some habits just genuinely aren't about the money anymore. Not really. You never told anyone the land wasn't really an investment. It was just a quiet place to breathe. Level 7. $1,200,000. You handed in your 2 weeks notice on a completely ordinary Tuesday. No announcement, no big send-off, just another shift quietly ending. Your manager asked what you'd be doing next, mostly out of politeness. Taking some time, you told him. Simple, calm, and honest. That was true. It still wasn't the whole truth of it, same as always. You cleaned out your locker in about 11 quiet, unhurried minutes. The Corolla was still parked in the exact same spot it always sat in. You drove it home one very last time from that job, streetlights sliding by outside. Balance that night, $1,204,600. Same car outside. Same worn jacket on the seat. You sat in the driveway for a while before going inside, just letting it settle. A year later, you're standing at a gas station on a completely ordinary evening. A truck pulls into the pump right next to yours, engine still running. It's Derek. A little older now. A little more tired than you remember him. He's still working the same kind of shift, just at a completely different place now. He nods toward the Corolla. "Still driving that thing, huh?" "Wow." "Yeah," you say quietly. "Still runs just fine." Derek doesn't ask anything else. He climbs back into his truck and waves. He has absolutely no idea what's actually sitting quietly in your account right now. And you're never going to be the one who tells him. Not tonight, not ever. The Corolla still rattles a little on cold mornings. You've never once minded that. It was never really about the car or the truck or what anyone else could see from the outside. Thanks for watching all the way through. See you in the next one.